Hello, welcome back to a sort of a top 10 type video, but not exactly. These are 33 good titles that people should be at least trying or at least pick up, okay? Because I honestly feel that these titles should be at least talked about, because these books have got good creative teams, and it's not like over the top, and these books have been good. Every single issue these books have released, these issues have come out. Yeah, dude, okay. I was just checking something in my list. Okay? Now we're going to go from bottom to the top of my list. Okay? Now the first one I want to talk about, now there are 33 titles on this list that I want to talk about. Yeah, 33. Alright, I'm going to do basically the first, this is going to be split into two parts because of how long this list is, okay? Out of the 70 plus titles Marvel is publishing, basically only 33 are worth picking up. And these are the current ones right now. Oh, I should probably throw in one more. Alright, I throw in one more, so make it 34, make it even. Alright, the first one I want to talk about is Patsy Walker, aka Hellcat. Now, I know some people are thinking, this title only exists because she appeared on Jessica Jones. True, but the series is actually really good. It's only just a few issues in right now. Let me take a look here quickly at that. Where are you? There you are. I'm sorry I didn't bring it before, but yeah. The series is only just 7 issues in, and it's a really good series. I'm sure the first trade is coming out soon for this series. It's a fun little title. It may not be Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. I know she got a series, but I decided not to include her because, well, the title was over top, and I read it because, well, it's just a title I like. I read Guilty Pleasure, but yeah, it's an okay title for Unbeatable Squirrel. But Patsy Walker, a Hellcat, this title is just really good. It's a humor title, yeah. Like, you get a lot of titles that are like serious and dark and brooding, but this is a title you can actually read, and you can actually read at your leisure. I mean, there's a lot of female characters pop up in the book. People like She-Hulk, who's there as a supporting character. One of 2 books she's a supporting character in. Also, people like Valkyrie, Kate Bishop, stuff like that. Her little Miss Avengers, and even the most recent issues, they've had Jessica Jones show up in the series, which is really good, the fact that they brought her in. Despite the fact in the comics, these two barely know each other, while on Netflix they're best friends for years. But I want to talk about this one, Patsy Walker, a Hellcat. I don't remember who does the writing for this title, but yeah. Before I continue, there is a couple other titles I forgot to include in my list, but honorable mentions. Uncanny Inhumans. This book is like about 12 issues in, and Charles Schultz is doing a great job with this title. Yeah, and I think the most recent storyline with it, like they explored the relationship between Medusa and the Human Torch. And I know people are not liking the fact Marvel is pushing the Inhumans over the X-Men, but this is still a really good title. Same thing with All New Inhumans. Great title. I love the fact there's 2 Inhuman titles like this. It's well written. Now, this one's current. Now, Charles Schultz did start out writing this book, co-writing with the current Jason Aaron's, I think his name is, but he has since left the book, probably because he's got too many books on his plate. But the book has still got great tone to it, and it's, even though it's Inhumans, but it's awesomely written. Another good title I forgot to mention is Karnak. This title is only just a few issues in, mainly because the book was suffering through delays, but Warren Ellis is doing a great job with this title, and even if you're a little curious, like, if this is a new character, Karnak, no, he's not a new character. He's an old character who's never got a chance of his ongoing series. But I thought I'd throw those titles out there at you. Just your tryout. All right. Next, of course, is a title that I don't think anybody is talking about. This title, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., written by Mark Guggenheim. This title is just awesome. If you're a fan of if you like the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show, you would love this comic. Especially as a continuation of the S.H.I.E.L.D. comic by Mark Waid. I mean, that comic brought in Melinda May, Fitz, and Simmons. Yeah, it brought in those three characters from the show into the continuity and had them team with various characters in the Marvel Universe. This title feels like a regular ongoing series instead of being a team-up book. And it's straightforward. Even though, yeah, it did have a brief crossover with Standoff and it's upcoming with Civil War 2. But it's a team led by Coulson, along with May, Fitz, and Simmons, along with the Henry Hayes Deathlock, Mockingbird. Yeah, Mockingbird is in this book. I know Mockingbird does have an ongoing series, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But this title is just great. Oh, in the most recent issue, they brought in Grant Ward. Yeah, the guy whose basically body was used for the main villain of the most recent season of the series, when he became Hive, and in the comic, he's a former he's an old friend of Phil Coulson. Yeah, the guy's got a lot of old friends in the Marvel Universe. But now, in the series, Coulson is the only one who's wearing a suit like he does in the show. Makes perfect sense. Because when you see him, he always wears a suit. So, yeah. And the rest of the characters all wear S.H.I.E.L.D. uniforms. Mockingbird has his own version of one. But Grant Ward is kind of like the main villain of the series. And the series is just awesome. And I am shocked no one is talking about this really damn good series. And Guggenheim, great choice to write this book because this guy's just showrunner on Arrow, for crying out loud. And the guy wrote a lot of good episodes for Arrow, and he has written comics before, so at least Marvel chose a guy who actually has written comic books, unlike some people they've chosen where they've never written comics before. Alright? So that's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Next up is Miss Marvel by G. Willow Wilson. This book has been really good ever since, even from the previous one. Yeah, the book was relaunched, but it's still a really good title. One thing I gotta praise for this book, it's one of the very few books Marvel is publishing right now where it has 3-issue arcs all the way through. Not 6, not 7, not 10, but it's 3-issue stories, and it's wrapped up really quickly, and it moves forward. Unlike some series where they just stand still for a few issues before they finally move on. But this series has been awesome since the original issue 1 came out back in 2013. This book is publishing now for 3 years now, and I think the book right now is, let's see. I want to make sure I got the number right. Okay, this volume is 8 issues in, and added from the previous book. Basically, this book has been publishing for 27 issues, and there's no stopping this title. And she's an original character. This wife actually takes an old code name from a different character, but she's an original character. Something Marvel doesn't do very much. People will think that, oh, Marvel has just replacing other characters, but this one is completely original, and she's very self-contained. Even though she guest stars in the pages of Nova and Spider-Man, but still good. Yeah, and Nova's really good as well. I want to mention that. Yeah. Now, somebody asking, Nick, is Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur on this list? No. It's an okay title. I have nothing against Amy Reeder, who's the writer of the book. It's an okay title. The only reason I read it is because of Devil Dinosaur. That's the only reason why I read it. Alright. That's 1, 2, 3. So I've talked about 3, 4, 5, about 6 books so far. Let's see. Oh, 7. I want to talk briefly about Nova before I continue on for my next item I want to mention. Nova, written by Sean Ryan. This book is really good. Even from the previous volume, despite the fact the previous volume went through 3 writers, the book is still really good. And I love the fact that Richard Rader is coming back now. But I would love it if he if there was 2 Nova titles. I know we're getting there's right now there's 2 Iron Man titles, 2 Captain America titles. There's gonna be soon 2 Thor titles, but what about 2 Nova titles? Have one title for Richard Rider and the other one for Sam Alexander. That's my idea, but Sean Ryan's doing a great job with that title. And out there. All right, next up is a book that is going to be canceled soon. Don't know why, despite the fact the book is actually really good. It's written by Chuck Wendig, who recently did the Aftermath novel, which was an okay book, but for some people it was just a disappointment. But wow, this book is good. Now, I've heard a few people talk about this book, but not a lot of people. But this book is just really good. I mean, it doesn't, even though it's set in the regular universe, but you don't have superheroes guest star the wazoo in this book. It's a self-contained series. It's just Hyperion protecting this teenager from her cultist father, and it's a pretty decent series. I don't know why it's getting canceled for, but yeah, awesome series. Alright, next up is Nighthawk, written by David Walker, who's also writing another title, which I'm going to talk about soon. He also wrote Cyborg, and he's also the writer of the Shaft comic, published by Dynamite. This guy is an awesome writer. I would love to take my issues of Power Man, Iron Fist, and have him autograph them. Now, I don't own any issues of this current volume with Nighthawk, but this book is just awesome. And especially since what his supporting character is an old Captain America supporting character, Nightshade, who he's reformed. And the book is set in Chicago, of all places. You don't get many books set in Chicago. Though, I keep thinking, though, this book is set in Chicago. Maybe they can bring back Melissa Gomez, who was briefly a supporting character in the Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man. Maybe she can come back, because she lives in Chicago. Maybe she can work with Nighthawk. That might be a good idea. It depends on what David Walker's going to do. But the book is only 2 issues in, and it's still good. Yes, it is still good. Alright, next up is a title which I don't think anybody's talking about this book, Squadron Supreme by James Robinson and Leonard Kirk. Yeah, the creative team behind the most recent volume, the most recent year, the most recent issues of the last issues that came out of Fantastic Four. This book is just awesome. It's only about 8 issues in, and I know in the first issue they killed off Namor, and I know that kind of, well, turned people off, and I know this was leaked. I do not know why it was leaked, and Marvel is not the person who leaked it, but yeah, this book is just awesome. And plus bringing in the character Thundera as a member of the group, and the group is comprised of characters who were from universes that were destroyed prior to Secret Wars. Now, maybe some people were not buying the book because 2 of the characters are Jonathan Hickman creations, the Hyperion that shows in the book, and Dr. Spectrum. Those 2 are Hickman creations, but the Nighthawk in the book is not a Hickman creation, who also appears in his own series. Like I said, he is a creation of J. Michael Straczynski, as in the guy who, yes, I know he did One More Day, as in also the guy who created Battlestar Galactica, and he also did run at Fantastic Four. He did run for Thor when he brought back Thor, and I know he did Superman Grounded and the whole Wonder Woman Odyssey thing. And he's also currently the writer of the Superman Earth 1 graphic novels. The guy is a good writer. And I wonder how he feels about Nighthawk, a character, his Nighthawk in an ongoing series, and it's set in the 616 universe. Yeah. But this Squadron Supreme title makes perfect sense. It's awesomely written, and plus in the most recent couple issues, you had Black Bolt show up in the series. I do highly recommend this one. It's really good. Alright, next is Captain Marvel. And this book is only 9 issues in. I know because the most recent issue came out last week. It was first written by, right now the current creative team is taking a break for Civil War II, but the current creative team is Christos Gage and his wife Ruth. I think it's his wife. The people who actually are the regular writers, but these guys are just the Civil War tie-in. But the regular writers are the people are the showrunners of Agent Carter. Yeah, the series that got canceled recently by ABC. But this book is just awesome. I mean, it's well written. I mean, if you want a female title, if you want to get a title that's really good and a title that a character who's going to appear in the movies soon, there's rumors of who's being casted right now. I mean, something Ronda Rousey, or I'm not sure who has been casted, but the casting hasn't officially announced who's going to play her. But as for the title itself, I mean, you have 3 members of the Alpha Flight team who's been in comics since the 80s. People like Sasquatch, Amora, and Puck as supporting characters of this series. And Abigail Brand, who was a Joss Whedon character. You have her as a supporting character as well, because Captain Marvel in this series is in charge of the Alpha Flight program. And her title is Commander Danvers. That's why I think she is Captain Marvel, yes. And the most recent issue, and I thought this was funny, that the U.S. ambassador for the Alpha Flight program is Marvel's biggest dick. Henry Peter Geinrich is the U.S. ambassador, and the Canadian ambassador, who actually agrees a lot with Carol Danvers, I think he's an old member of Alpha Flight. No, he's not Fox, Madison Jeffries. I think he's one of the old Alpha Flight members, but awesome. Yeah. So if you're looking for a female title, this one, Miss Marvel, is good enough for you. Alright. Next up is also starring Captain Marvel, and that's The Ultimates, written by Al Erdwing. Now, as far as I know, this title is still sticking around as part of the Marvel Now 2.0. I'm glad the fact it's still sticking around, and it's still the same creative team. I'm very happy at that. This is a title that I think a lot of people like. If you're like into cosmic stuff, and if you want a title featuring characters like Blue Marvel, Spectrum, who's Monica Rambeau, Carol Danvers, the Black Panther, and of course Miss America from formerly Young Avengers, this is a title for you. In the first 2 issues, they cure Galactus of his hunger. Yeah. Awesome. Now, I'm not putting on here New Avengers, because even though it's written by Al Erdwing, and I do like the series, but I have no idea where the series is going. That's why I'm not including. But Ultimates, awesome series. Next up is a series written by Gary Duggan, one of 2 he's writing right now, and that's Uncanny Avengers. And this title is not being relaunched. This title is still going for Marvel. I saw the announcement. Uncanny Avengers is continuing. It's not being relaunched. Thank you, Marvel, for not relaunching this book, because this book is getting much better now. Because it had an okay start when the book started off with, but the book is much better now. You finally have a series to go with, and you have Ultron. Yeah, freaking Ultron is back. Yeah, Ultron is back in a Marvel book for the first time in probably a year. But, wow. The most recent 2 issues are really good. And the book is getting better and better. Yep. Alright. Next up is a title that I don't think anybody cares to talk about, but I enjoy it. Unbelievable Gwenpool. Yes, a character who is a sort of a female version of Deadpool, and yes, I do know she's going to hook up with Miles in the Spider-Man title, which, thank you for not relaunching the title. I didn't include Spider-Man, because quite honestly, up until the most recent issue, like the first couple issues I thought was really good. 3rd issue was just bad. Really bad. Because it took like the last couple pages for the story to move forward, because the whole thing with gold balls. And this issue was the most recent issue that came out for Spider-Man was better. But yeah, I'm hoping the title gets much better soon. But Gwenpool. Fun title. And it is fun to see a character who is from the real world in the book, and she kind of looks like Gwen Stacy in a way. Yeah, but good title. Now this next title would not surprise anybody that it's on my list. Deadpool by Gary Duggan, and it's awesome. Yes. Now I've read every single issue of Deadpool that's ever come out. And I've also read almost every single Deadpool spin-off books. All the spin-off books for Deadpool was limited series. The only thing I have not fully read yet so far is Deadpool Max. I have not fully read that yet, but I read everything else. I threw this one on there because this one is a title that people are talking about, but I do recommend this title to people who like the Deadpool movie. Try out the comic. The comic is awesome. I definitely will also recommend the Spider-Man Deadpool title because it's still really good as well. Yeah, so both of those two titles. Alright. Next up is Thunderbolts by Jim Zub, I think his name is. This title is like 90s nostalgia, late 90s nostalgia. It features most of the founding members of the Thunderbolts except for Songbird and Zemo. But pretty much, yeah, that's simply what it is. It's Winter Soldier leading the founding members of the Thunderbolts. Yeah, the only characters, like I said, the only characters that are happening are Songbird and Zemo. Where are these two characters? Zemo's off in Sam Wilson in Captain America Steve Rogers, while Songbird is in New Avengers. Now this title's only 3 issues in, and it's heating up. Yeah, and this title just started. I knew this title was coming out post stand up because it was an article released that this title was going to come out, and I've enjoyed it. And I recently decided to online just to read for free, read the older issues of Thunderbolts, and wow, good issues. Even like every single issue of Thunderbolts I've read so far, even the Red Hulk Thunderbolts were actually really good. So I do recommend this book. I mean, this book is not that hard to catch up with. 3 issues in, like 2 or 3 issues in, you gotta try this book. Alright, next book. This book is the creative team for this book, and I did do a review of this on my channel, on my regular comic corner / comic classics / non-classics. All New XMen by Dennis Hopeless and Mark Bagley. Now, some people's biggest problem with this title is the fact it comes out twice a month. I don't have a really big problem with that because they actually have slowed down a bit, but I know the Apocalypse Wars thing is not everybody's cup of tea, but the title is getting better, and I know Extraordinary X-Men is getting better as well. I think once Apocalypse Wars over, these 2 titles will go better. But the one title I decided not to include this on this list was Uncanny X-Men, because Colin Bunn is a good writer, but this is one of his current misses that he's done. It's an okay title. I do think that his Civil War Civil War 2 X-Men miniseries is better than this, despite the fact he writes both. But the tie-in miniseries of Civil War 2, that one's better than the actual regular book. Yeah. Alright, moving on. Next up, I'm going to talk about both of these 2 books. Old Man Logan and All New Wolverine. Old Man Logan is written by Jeff Lemire, and the artist is the artist who did the Secret Wars miniseries. Old Man Logan was written by Bendis. This title is actually really good. I mean, if you want Logan, if you want a title about James Howlett, this is a title for you. It's only just a few issues in. It's only about 8 issues in, I think it is, and it doesn't come out twice a month, and the title was just fantastic. The first story arc took place before issue 1, and even though it's moved past that, the title stuff has been pretty decent, but I do recommend it, picking it up. And same thing for All New Wolverine, written by Tom Taylor, and it features X-23 as Laura, as the new Wolverine. The title's been pretty decent, and I mean, yes, you have guest star appearances by various Marvel heroes, and I know the most recent couple issues, this issue, I think next year's coming out this week, I don't know, but you have Logan guest starring and Maria Hill, you had Doctor Strange, the Wasp. Yeah, I know people are picking up this tab, but I decided to throw this one on it because, like Deadpool, it's a good series, and people are talking about it, but I do recommend people try it out who are interested in the character. Next, of course, okay, we're talking about Deadpool. Next, of course, is Drax. And this one's also written by Colin Bunn, and it's written also by CM Punk. About I think it's about 9 issues in, and it's really good. Like the first story arc, he fought Drax fought Fing Fang Boom. I love his supporting characters, and I even love the fact that Pip the Troll was in the book. Now, one thing Pip the Troll has in common with Drax is that they're both Jim Starlin creations. And it's a great cosmic title, and even though it doesn't have a connection that much to Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's still a great title to read. And I know Star-Lord just recently wrapped up, and I'm glad the fact it's coming back, and I don't think that the title's written by Sam Jeffries anymore, but I'm glad it's coming back, but that was also a good series. I was sad to see it end at the 8 issues, but I'm glad it's ended. Next, Guardians of the Galaxy. Another awesome series. This one's written by Bendis. He's done great. I mean, this book is almost, I would say almost, let's see. This book is, I recently caught up with, I recently read it almost recent series. This book is only 9 issues in. Yeah, 9 issues in this book is. And the book has just been great. Yeah, and it's another one of those titles where some people are talking about them, but read more. And especially if you like the movie, you like this book. And it's the only book that Angela's featured in right now because they canceled her book. Alright, 2 more. Oh, 1 more now in this video. Because it's almost a half hour. Alright, last time I'm talking about for this part is Venom Space Knight by Robbie Thompson. Okay, that's right. Okay. This book is just awesome. I have enjoyed this book since the beginning. And this is one of the books I was looking forward to when it was coming out. I know there's new Venom title coming out, but I'm hoping that's still Flash Thompson because I don't think they're going to switch back to... I don't think they're going to change Venom again. Flash has been Venom for the past 6 years, so I don't think that they're going to change him again. That's my theory. Actually, he's been Venom for like 5 years now, but I don't think they're going to change him again, especially since the main Venom title is doing actually really good. Though, I do think that they are... I did like the fact the most recent issue. I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a character who appeared in the previous Venom book, and first time I've seen this character in a few years. But if you read the most recent issue that came out, you would know who this character is if you had read the previous series, which at that point was written by Colin Bunn. Yeah, but another really awesomely told series. It's only just a handful of issues. I think it's about 9 issues, if I'm not mistaken. Check this. Yeah, it's 9 issues in. I was right, it's 9 issues in. So, that's it for part 1. Stay tuned for part 2 of these like 35 or 36 titles that are good and people should try to pick up and try. Alright, so I'll see you for part 2. Okay? Bye.